Alright, so this is what you had from last time after disassembling the cells. As you can see, it's just the way it was before. I put the 2 wax paper off. I'm doing this outside, cutting the bus bar that I'll show you in a bit outside. So therefore there's a lot of wind, so it's better if you just kind of cut this wax paper so that it doesn't flop around too much. There will be 2 sides. I would note one as the top, one at the bottom, and I'll show you in a bit what they are. So I would actually denote this side as the top and this side as the bottom. You can't really tell now. You can't really tell if this is the bottom or this is the top, other than this, this padding that is on the bottom. And so here's some of the tools that I have that I'll need. Is the scissors just to cut the wax paper, but once you're done with that, you're good to go. Flathead screwdriver, definitely a Dremel tool. I try to cut it using one of these scissors or something, heavy duty scissor. It doesn't work too well, and I just have a Dyson to kind of clean up all the Dremel tool stuff. You'll want to have electrical tape also, because later on you want to seal up all the terminals, and of course there's always that handy wire cutter that you'll need to remove some of the stick-on glue that they have on the edges, and I'll show you what I mean when we get there. So yeah, so let's go ahead and start removing this. So the cells itself are protected by this plastic piece, and so this plastic piece is easily removed because there's 2 clips here, one here and then one on the other side. Just use your flathead and just kind of pop those clips here. Once they're off, they're pretty easy. I already actually popped this one already. So once you have that, it pulls off easily this top part. So there you go. It's removable. There's your 3 terminal. Now, as you remember, I said this is the top and this is the bottom. That's the only difference. Now you actually it's clear to see because the top has these numbers or letters, whatever those are. And the top is where you want to attack the problem first, and then you go ahead and finish it off using the bottom. In fact, if you're good enough and you do experience enough, you probably don't even need to look at the bottom. The bottom is protected also by another piece here, which you can easily remove out. And so just go ahead and remove all that. Okay, so now let's get started. So, first thing is first is you need to remove these plastic pieces that are protecting the cells, that are holding the cells. And so they pop off easily, so don't worry about saying, these are kind of taped on. You pop them off one by one. And as you go, you pop one off, and then you Dremel tool a couple of them, remove them, and pop the next one, and so on. The way you pop those guys off is you would need your trusty flathead screwdriver. So as you can see, on the edges here, there's these kind of glue that you can just pry off, as I'm doing here, and you're gonna need to pry those guys off before you can actually remove them. They're held on, they're just kind of, I'm not sure exactly what they are. They're like hardened glue, but they're not really glue. So there's one on one side, and then of course the inside that you need to pop off, and that's where I'm going to actually use my flathead. As you can see, that these are the cells here. And what I would do is hold it to the tab and then just kind of pull it. Again, you can be a little rough on the cells here. This is a little tougher on that side to access, so I'm going to go ahead and try on this side. So let's see. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so just kind of pull this off. And again, just play around with it. Turns out I'll probably be needing this flathead. So I'll go ahead and prop it out and come back and I'll show you what I mean. So as you can see right there, I propped it off, and it becomes pretty easy to remove after that. I won't be able to do this while holding it this way because it's pretty difficult, but as you can see, I'm popping it off here already. Similarly, I did this on the same I did the same thing on the other side. So once you have that, then you can prop it off easily. there's still so there's a hole here, and so the glue kind of flows past through. So what you want to do is use your trusty wire cutter and just cut that piece off, and then once you do that, then it becomes very easy to remove. And what I recommend is once you are able to remove one side like so go ahead and I already cut that part off there. Once you are able to remove one side like so, the other side is actually pretty easy to do because then you kind of just force it a little bit. Again, be careful not to damage the tabs there. If you damage the tabs, it's fine on this part where it's laminated. You can tell pretty well that when it's laminated, you can kind of damage that part, but you don't want to cut into this part here that I'm showing right now. And the reason is that's actually part of the cell already. And if you puncture those, you're gonna have to electrical tape those or seal those up somehow to prevent foreign elements to come into the cell and shorten your life of your cell or damage your cell. So some people might say, all right, why don't you just cut this part? Well, I mean, if you cut this part, you gotta be really damn careful not to cut into the cell itself to remove this thing. So I find it, it's probably easier just to mess with this and cut this part off. Alright, so here's what it looks like. So as you can see, there's kind of steps, or there is steps, and there's the 3 terminal. So the way I would attack this problem is, this is again based on experience. I actually cut like 3 of these already. So what you want to do is cut down here, the 2 sides, so you can remove these terminals. Then go ahead and cut the side here, and then that way you can access the first cell. And then of course once you access the first cell, you pull it back, and then of course you're going to start removing the plastic piece on the second piece. And then once you remove that, then go ahead and cut this, and then it will be exposed, so then you can cut the inside, and I'll show you what I mean afterwards. And you cut that part there, and then you remove the second cell, and then a third cell. Similarly, you repeat the process, and eventually you'll cut everything off, and that's pretty much it. Alright, so I already removed the 2 terminal bus. That was pretty easy enough. I cut this side already. Now this side I wanted to cut using the Dremel tool also, but what I want to do beforehand is to actually generate some space out of this so that actually the Dremel can fit through this. Again, I would cut this one a little more carefully, just because the way the Dremel tool actually rotates, it actually rotates counterclockwise. So therefore when you're spinning and trying to cut this, you're cutting it like this, what would happen is that you try to cut the side and then it'll actually spin out. And so what you want to do is just kind of drill right through in the center right here, through the side of the profile of the bus, the copper bus. So I'll go ahead and just kind of drill like this through here. And once you got that, then you can remove the first cell off. Okay, so as you can see, what I have here is almost the finished product. Again, electrical tape those that are already sealed. I already removed the plastic that's holding this last part. So now I'm only left with removing these 2. And so the place where I would cut this now would be so let's see if I can get a clear shot here. Okay, so I would cut this part because you need to remove this bus here, and then of course the rest is pretty straightforward. Just cut these 2 sides, and then you're done. And then remove the last plastic piece, and then you got yourself this full cells exposed terminal exposed. Okay, so I got everything removed, electrical taped all the terminals, and that's pretty much it. And as you can see, there's the way that they configured it is there's this plus sign on each of those. I'm not sure you can see it, but that's to denote the positive. And so they would parallel these two guys together and parallel these two guys together, and that's how you got the 60 amp hours. And then similarly, you flip this around, you got your other positive side and the other side, and of course, you know, these two guys parallel each other, and then connect those two, and then you got yourself here. Oh well, I mean, connect one of the two, and then there you go, you get your 7.4 amps or 7.6 volts, two parallel or two series. So yeah, once you get that, that's pretty much it. As you can see, I left a lot of that plastic, the glue stuff protecting it. I just remove all the plastic stuff. So yeah, and the back you can always remove also, but I would just leave it there again for protection, cell protection. So the next step after this would be to solder them to the proper configuration. So these are two positive, right? So what you want to do is to have 4 series and 1 parallel. So the negative this would have to go to the positive of the other one, and then the negative this would have to go to the positive of this one, and then this guy would also go to this guy. So the way it would be connected is these two connect together, these two connect together, these two connect together wire, and then finally these are the 2 terminals. And of course you can have your balance cable that comes out of it, but these are kind of the 2 terminals, the positive and negative of the 4 series. And then that's pretty much it.